say sunlight is the best disinfectant, and the WNBA got a lot of it this year, exposing a ton of problems, really, that I'm sure many people didn't know existed. I certainly didn't know the depths of the culture at times around the league, which goes for the media, goes for some of the players, and goes to some of the resistance to the new fans that came into the league. Now, that doesn't really relate to this topic, but it does in a sense, because now that there are so many more eyeballs on the league, all of the things are going to get more attention. Whether that was what happened with the Aces and De'Erica Hamby, and we still don't know the resolution there. I still don't know enough details to render judgment, or any of the other sagas that took place in the WNBA beyond the basketball stuff and beyond the discourse around Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and other stars. And the latest is that the Seattle Storm are apparently under investigation for player mistreatment by the coaching staff. This coming from Annie of the Chicago Sun-Times, who's basically the Woj of the WNBA at this point. She nails everything. Let me give her credit with the byline right there so you can see it. It's a short story, but it just says the Storm coaching staff under investigation for alleged player mistreatment, a WNBA source told the Sun-Times on Friday. A law firm hired by the team is looking into accusations of alleged harassment and bullying tied to on-court performance. So harassment and bullying tied to on-court performance. According to one league source, the investigation was sparked by multiple players' experiences. And it says that the Players Association confirmed that it was aware of an investigation. Yeah, I mean, I would hope they're aware, because Nneka Ogwumike is the president of the Players Association, which makes this story even wilder, because you can look at recent comments that she made, and it's kind of, I'm not sure the word to use, but it's odd considering the timing of this story coming out, that you would also get those words from Ogwumike, who I guess didn't know about this at the time. I'm sure she wouldn't condone it, but you would think you would get word of it, something, if it was this prevalent. And obviously she would be tipped off before other players in her role. But this is what she said when she was talking to Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe on the A Touch More podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I've had so many different coaches. I've connected with so many different coaches. I don't think I've ever looked at a coach and seen myself in a coach, perhaps, like the way that I have with not even just Noelle, but with Eb as well. I played with Eb, so there's already that existing relationship there.
You're old, bro.
I know.
That's the first sign. That's the first sign.
I know.
No, I'm kidding. You're not.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny, because I was telling my teammates, I was like, yeah, Eb was my vet my rookie year. They're like, Eb played? I was like, oh my God.
That's the worst. Yeah, where do you think she came from? That's the worst.
So,
she just likes basketball? No, she played. What are you talking about?
I'm like, absolutely. She was good. She's a champion. I'm like, come on, relax.
Yeah,
but yeah, just being able to kind of relate to my coach in that way, it's cliche, but seeing someone that you see yourself in, there's things that you don't necessarily have to explain, when you're communicating with your coach. And I would say that even, not even just being a Black woman in the WNBA who's played in the WNBA, I would say that, if you're generalizing it a little bit more, or if you're kind of stripping the categories away, even playing, someone who has played, you guys know it's different when, it may be different because Sue, you and Noe were so close in age and you guys had played together, but still there's just a different type of relationship you can have with someone who knows you on that level, because I just feel like that type of experience is just not something you can ever teach, And I think too, though, being an older player and having a coach like Noelle it's impacting me in ways that perhaps other people may not experience, not necessarily negatively or more positively, but I just think that my connection at this point in my career with what I've experienced and what she's experienced, there's just so much that aligns.
So those comments are going to be scrutinized if more comes out in support of this report. Again, I don't know what happened, and Nneka Ogwumike has her own feelings toward her coach, and she is entitled to those. Again, I don't know the extent of her knowledge of any of these accusations at the time those comments were made, but it is a strange situation, considering her role not only in the Players Association, but on that team, the comments she made and the reports that have now come out. And, this was not the first time something like this has surfaced. I saw this old post, I'm assuming is a real post, but Seattle Storm crazies. Anyone noticed the chemistry was off? I'm hearing more rumors that the coaching staff were abusive. So perhaps that was foretelling. And then you look back on some moments in the season, they look, I don't know if I'm reaching to connect them. I probably am, but it just kind of makes me look at them or a little differently. They came into my head at the time, right? Like when I'm thinking about it, including, the Skylar Diggins-Smith thing where she found Caitlin, made a beeline, made sure to make contact with Caitlin. Now, she's not a member of the coaching staff, obviously, but Quinn, after that game, it did appear like Christy Sides kind of apologized to her, if you remember. Like Christy Sides went out of her way to find her and basically, be like, my bad, I'm sorry about Caitlin celebrating. See there, she's going to find her. They had some sort of discussion. Christy's getting an earful there. Yeah. And then Skylar's involved too. And it looks like Sides is taking some degree of responsibility. I don't know, backs away. Maybe Christy got bullied a little bit in that exchange, not to make light of what could be a serious situation. Again, I don't know. All I know is there's no hiding in the WNBA now. There's no things that are going to fly under the radar in the WNBA now. In previous years, a story like this could be reported for sure. It could even take place and happen, but it may not be covered. Now you're going to get a story like this covered. To be fair to all parties involved, I don't know what players said this. I don't know what coaching staff they're actually being accused of. I don't know if they did anything at all. But it's certainly a story to follow, both now and going forward when it comes to who's going to be on the bench, because it appears a storm is brewing.